Does anybody else think it's funny how Donald Trump has officially done more for Canada, and he's not even in office yet, than Justin Trudeau, our Prime Minister, has done for the country in years? Like,
Prime Minister, was it a productive meeting with President-elect?
It was an excellent conversation.
How are you talking about your relationship with Donald Trump?
Yes, Justin Trudeau recently rushed to visit Trump to beg for mercy. I don't know if you've seen this. He's receiving massive criticism on social media pertaining to this. Some says what Trump has done within the few days without even taking office is more than what he has done for years. It is important we take an exclusive look into what is going on exactly. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please endeavor to do that. It will do you no harm if you share out this video.
does anybody else think it's funny how Donald Trump has officially done more for Canada, and he's not even in office yet, than Justin Trudeau, our Prime Minister, has done for the country in years? Like, don't get me wrong, 25% tariffs would be terrible for us. And I shouldn't think this is funny, but I just kind of do, because he is calling for Trudeau to fix the things that so many of us have been calling for Trudeau to fix. But Trudeau doesn't listen to us. We're peasants, right? But he will listen to Donald Trump. And I just think it's hilarious how Donald Trump is basically like when you're fighting with your parents, so then you go and tell your grandparents about it, but then your parents are also telling your grandparents, so then your grandparents end up being the mediator who talks some sense into all of you guys. Donald Trump is basically our grandpa in this situation, because he's like, hey, Canada, I hear you. I know what's going on. Your prime minister tries to pretend like it's not going on, but I know that that's not true, and we're going to force him to fix it. And again, the tariffs, if they were to ever actually come into effect, would be very, very detrimental to our economy. But the threat of them alone is going to see our government actually listening to its people for the first time in years. Like, seriously, Donald Trump, within 3 weeks of being elected, is officially going to be cleaning up our streets better than our own government did, because he didn't care about it until Donald Trump threatened tariffs. And for that, I guess, thank you, Donald Trump, for trying to save Canada, because clearly our prime minister had no interest in doing that beforehand, which is really a damn shame, because I'm sure he would not be lagging so far behind in the polls if he had actually just taken that stuff seriously beforehand.
If the government needs to pass new...
You can see the Trump effect. He sent this out. I just had a very productive meeting with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada, where we discussed many important topics that will require both countries to work together to address, like the fentanyl and drug crisis that has decimated so many lives as a result of illegal immigration, fair trade deals that do not jeopardize American workers, and the massive trade deficit the US has with Canada. I made it very clear that the United States will no longer sit idly by as our citizens become victims to the surge of this pandemic, caused mainly by the cartels and fentanyl pouring in from China. Too much there and hardship. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has made a commitment to work with us to end these terrible devastations of U.S. families. We also spoke about many other important topics like energy, trade, and the Arctic. All are vital issues that I will be addressing on my first day back in office. Okay, you can see that this is happening. So Justin Trudeau knew that this was going on, and he did nothing until Trump came in. That is to tell you who he is.
If the government needs to pass new spending to better secure its borders, would you support that?
Why haven't they done it? They broke the border. Justin Trudeau broke the border. We didn't have these problems before Justin Trudeau. We didn't have Roxham Road before Justin Trudeau. We didn't have these illegal border crossings before Justin Trudeau. We didn't have, the number of asylum claims have gone from 10,000 to over 200,000 under Justin Trudeau, more than 20-fold increase. All the chaos at our border is the result of Justin Trudeau. It's his job to come up with a plan today. You know what we're seeing now, though, is that because the Prime Minister has vacated the border and turned it open to anyone who wants to come in, the premiers are now taking responsibility for our border. You know, Trudeau wants to be in charge of all these provincial areas of jurisdiction, and yet he's not taking care of the one federal job that is most the responsibility of the federal government, which is the border. So we have Quebec sending in the Sûreté du Québec, their police force, to secure the border. Premier Smith, common sense leader, is proposing to use drones, provincial drones, and other police law enforcement measures from her province to secure the borders there. I understand Doug Ford is looking at something similar. So now, because Trudeau has so thoroughly broken the border, we're getting a patchwork of premiers who have no choice but to try and hold the border together with bubble gum, scotch tape, and elastic bands. Just everything is broken after Justin Trudeau. We need a carbon tax election to fire him and bring in a strong Prime Minister who can rebuild our borders.
In my opinion, this guy will be good. His policies are almost in line with what Trump believes in. Just imagine this guy is there as a Prime Minister working with Trump. You will not see things like this happening. I don't know him that much, but from what I've observed over the past years, he's always on point. Then I don't understand. People will complain about Trudeau every single day, like what we saw during the trucker period. People were complaining, but they still went ahead to vote for him. That should clearly tells you what is happening here. People cry every day, but they continue to make the same mistakes. Look at what Trudeau has done. Nobody has ever done that before. But people will still go and vote for him. It is high time for people to realize, look at what Americans did. Took a decision based on how they are feeling, not on sentiment. Yes, that should determine who you are putting there to govern you. The border is open. Same issues the US is facing.
Bonjour tout le monde. I had a good call with Donald Trump last night again. Trudeau is at the end of his time. It's a parliamentary system. He's hated by his own people. He's got a few months left. Trump will not be negotiating with him. He's gone. This is like the end of the parliamentary system, like Britain. A few months ago, they whacked their PM. Trudeau he's irrelevant. So now Trump should actually bring down the Prime Minister in waiting, a guy named Pierre Poilievre. He's much more in sync with Trump. He's going to lift the ban on pipelines, eradicate no more carbon tax, and investing back in Canada. People want to invest there. And he's concerned about the border, concerned about fentanyl. He should go down to Mar-a-Lago now. Trudeau, irrelevant. Doesn't matter.
What does any of this have to do with starting a trade war? Like, why can't you develop relationships with our allies? It's not a trade war when you get in sync with these two economies. There's no way on earth. We're talking about water, paper, power, cars, gas, oil, all coming from Canada. Massive trading partnership. No chance in hell there'll be a tariff.
Because, just finish the sentence. No chance because it would be damaging or
because
no
it's
chance?
A bad idea.
No, I just want him to finish his idea.
A 25% tariff would devastate both countries. It's not going to happen. But the guy to be negotiating with is not Trudeau. He's a zero right now.
Wouldn't push it.
Coming to protest his tyrannical ways.
Yes, Trudeau is under heat. Just the other day, he was being criticized on social media after appearing on a concert with Taylor Swift. Some people say that was just a motive because he knows elections are coming up. Now to interact with these Taylor Swift fans, that is the best strategy he thought he can put forward. Going back to this video, Justin Trudeau has just conceded to Trump tariff threat in 24 hours. So Trudeau knew that this problem was happening. He could not cooperate with Biden. Now, Trump coming in, Trudeau is suddenly realizing that there was a problem. There is to tell you who this guy is. He knows elections are coming up. He changed his mind. Now say, we are reducing the number of immigrants coming into Canada throughout the year. Trudeau allow this to happen.
I had a good call with Donald Trump last night again. We obviously talked about laying out the facts, talking about how the intense and effective connections between our two countries flow back and forth. We talked about some of the challenges that we can work on together. It was a good call. This is something that we can do, laying out the facts, moving forward in constructive ways. This is a relationship that we know takes a certain amount of working on, and that's what we'll do. One of the really important things is that we be all pulling together on this. The Team Canada approach is what works. That's where, putting aside partisanship, that's where...
The Prime Minister dances while Montreal burns. Over the weekend, Montreal
burned cars, smashed officers, and the Prime Minister was nowhere to be found. It took him until noon the next day, and he offered the most basic platitudes resembling some standard condemnation that he's been offering after fomenting the hatred that he's now surprised about. So
Justin Trudeau tweeted to Taylor Swift asking her to add a stop of her Eras tour in Canada.
Have a nice Sunday.
doing this. That's what she did.
NBC News can now project that Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin, which means he is the winner of this race and will return to the White House.
And Donald Trump will be our next president.
Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States.
CNN projects that Donald Trump has been elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris and making a political comeback unlike any in modern American politics.
You know what? Donald Trump likes my music.
Please register to vote.
Look at this. She's only up by 15 points.
Got Taylor Swift.